Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Sam and I are here to bring you up to date on everything Spartan. Sam, welcome.
It's been thank you. Good to be back with you, and I'd like to thank Ron Wiley for filling in for me last
yeah,
week.
you had a prior engagement,
yeah.
so you couldn't make it, but Ron was here and did a good job.
Well, as he always does.
Hey, the lady Spartans and the boy Spartans had a pretty successful week last week.
Had a terrific week last week, and Lady Spartans doing well, above 500, and the boys remain undefeated. So it was a lot of fun. 3 of the 4 games we played were at Spartan Bowl, so you can't get any better than that.
South Dearborn came to Spartan Bowl, and the Spartans, both teams won. The girls also beat in their ball game.
Yeah, they beat Muncie Central and South Dearborn, and did pretty well.
Absolutely, I was impressed with the girls. I mean, they went to 7-6 now in the season, and I think they're looking up.
They are. They're playing much better. They've cut down on the turnovers.
Yes.
Making their shots, and they're playing good basketball, good defensive basketball too, holding their opponents down. So, I like the direction they're headed. Coach Thompson and I talked about that a couple of times, and it seemed like they were having fun. He said, "Well, as long as they're not having too much fun." But and if you notice during the JV games, they're cheering on the junior Lady Spartans and their end of the game, and you don't see that all the time from a varsity team that's really cheering on the ones that going to come up and take their place and are vying to take their places.
I see the boys do the same thing.
Yeah, they do. So good camaraderie.
Oh, really? I mean, that's so important to that everybody gets along and everything. And the boys Spartans, they beat South Dearborn in the middle of the week and then traveled to Richmond Saturday night. Quite a battle.
It was quite a battle. South Dearborn kept them perfect in the conference and perfect on the season, and once again, defense was the name of the game there too. That Spartans doing what they had to do. Of course, South Dearborn holding the ball and slowing
they
it
wanted to slow it down
and causing those defensive possessions to be very long. And then Saturday night we traveled to Tiernan Center in Richmond, and the place I love to hate. But Spartans came away with a 5-point win. We're down 9 points at one point in the game.
Yes.
Richmond is a much better team in my opinion, than what their record showed. They really had some quickness, and Christian Harvey, I think he had 23 or 24 points.
I believe.
24 points. He could light it up. He handled the ball well, didn't turn it over, and we played a very good game to beat a good team that had only won one game, but they had been in most of them, except for the North Central game.
They've lost some close games, but again, the Spartan defense, as it has in all their ball games, has been the determining factor.
It has been, and I'm seeing, as Coach Brown is using his bench more, I'm seeing his bench develop and play well. I thought Dalton Lee played very well the other night in a tight game situation where he was doing a lot of the ball handling between him and Garrett Silcott. And under a pressure-packed situation, several times Richmond tried to press, but Spartans broke it, so they didn't use it all that much. But Spartans just able to get it done on both ends.
Isaac's had 17 points. Bo, his 3-point shots are things of beauty. I mean, and Grant Smith only had 5. What's going on?
Well, Grant picked up 2 quick fouls and set a lot of the first half, and came in and played well.
Yes.
When he did, just scoring opportunity wasn't there, but the unselfishness of Grant showed right at the end of the game when he had a breakaway, and I thought he was taking it in for a dunk, and Garrett Silcott was the trailer, and he just passed behind him, and Garrett came in and finger rolled it in. So that's the mark of a good team, I think, when you have unselfish players.
Yes, that ended the game, and that took Richmond out of the game. I mean, it was over then.
Yes, it
It was
was.
over.
And
54-49 was the final, and two straight regular season games over Richmond. I believe we beat them in overtime,
oh,
didn't
that
we, at
just
Spartan Bowl a year
yes,
ago?
yes, we did. And you know,
Okay.
it just brings tears of joy to my eyes.
So the Spartans go to 6-0. Unfortunately, the JV team they dropped to 5-1 because they lost their first ball game of the season. I think 41-37, something like that.
Yes, I think so. But a hard-fought game and a game that they were in. Just they got beat by a good JV team. I don't think they really
So
did anything wrong.
so Richmond looks like they're
Right.
coming. I
I
mean,
think they are. I think they are. And, you know, I think this is the second year for their coach, Coach
yes,
Whitlow.
Whitlow.
And he's trying to get his system in place, and he will, because he has some good players on his
I
team.
think
It's
does
just
he
a
have
matter.
A son that's a freshman?
Yes,
I thought so.
Ricky Wedlow, and yes, that's his son, and he handled the ball quite a bit the other night too.
Yeah,
He,
point guard,
he
I
and the
guess.
He and the Harvey boy.
Is Harvey a senior? What's his class?
You know, I don't know. I was
I'm
thinking maybe he was a junior.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
What you fellows
You know, I had that in
said.
front of me, but I don't
Well, I
remember.
can understand why. But no, it was a great game. Again, it's Spartan fan following was.
Oh, during the JV game, we had a lot more people there than they did, and Richmond crowd was a late arriving crowd.
Yes.
But we didn't have more people there, but we were pretty close
Yes.
to what they had. And the interesting thing that I saw on the upper deck of Tiernan Center that they didn't have all the bleachers pulled out, only about halfway up.
Gee.
So the crowds are down.
Sure.
We continue to see decent crowds at Spartan Bowl.
Right,
But,
right.
And I'm seeing that wherever we go.
Oh,
on
it
the
is.
road. But,
I mean, if you see some of the video from Indianapolis games on TV, you see a very sparse crowd. And gosh, it's unfortunate, isn't it? I
It
mean,
is.
can you remember the days when?
Oh, when yeah, you'd stand in line to get a ticket.
That's right. I mean,
And at tournament time, we had a lottery to
yes.
to get tickets, and that was when we hosted. But we travel well, and I know the kids appreciate that. We both boys and girls travel pretty well with.
Yes.
And many times in girls' games, we'll be on the road, and we'll have more people there than the home team has.
Yes. Okay, speaking of away games, a trip Tuesday night to Greenfield Central for the final regular season game of 2016.
2016.
And it's a doubleheader thing. Girls play varsity at 6, boys varsity at 7:30. Where the JVs go?
JV boys will play at 6 in the auxiliary gym at Greenfield Central.
Okay.
And then the JV girls will play immediately following that while the boys are playing varsity.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So-
It's unusual, but
It's a little unusual, but it works out, and everybody, all 4 teams get to play that way.
right. Maybe we could do that because we have Spartan Arena right next to
Well, and
to
I
the
think
bowl.
we did do that last year when we hosted that.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it works out.
yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of fun having that doubleheader. It makes it tight getting there and getting set up. But Dave and I will be on the air at 5:45, and we'll be on straight through. But Coach Thompson and I talked about it, and he likes the idea that they do come in and play at 6. There's no JV game in front of them. So it's like a sectional atmosphere, possibly, because you could draw to where you play at 6
Sure.
on sectional night. So
Sure.
it's
good.
It's an opportunity for them to feel
Right.
that and understand what that's like, not to have the JV girls playing at or prior to that, and that makes a lot of sense because they just come out cold then, and they don't have as much time
Right.
to warm up, because as you know, during the JV game at halftime, our varsity girls come out and do shoot around.
Yes.
So there's more time for shoot around, I guess
Yes.
is what I'm trying to say.
Greenfield Central, the boys are 3-3. I'm not sure what the girls are. So,
I think they're one game under 500.
Okay, so it should be
But pretty good team, and Greenfield plays a pretty good schedule.
Yes.
the conference that they're in, the Hoosier Heritage, as well as Metro Indianapolis schools that they play. So I think both teams are going to have to be on top of their game. That you can't discount the Greenfield boys either, and of course the Greenfield Central girls are coached by Doug Laker, who was Kerry Brown's assistant at Rushville, and has done a nice job up there.
Sure, sure. As we mentioned, final regular season game for this year, the Bob Wedding tournament at Richmond, December 27th, 28th, and 29th. Spartans will be taking part. That's a tournament named after a fellow that was a longtime management.
An athletic supporter type guy
for Richmond,
for
but
Richmond.
it's I know Connersville is very happy to be in it. The Spartans, though, if they defeat Greenfield Central, will be the only undefeated team in this tournament. So the favorite.
You might think they are the
I
favorite
would think so.
based on that, and maybe anyway going into
Sure,
it. So,
sure.
and it's a nice group of teams, and I can't remember all of them now, but from around the state, some of them that we might not necessarily see.
Yeah, I've got them. I've got them listed here.
Mm-hmm.
This thing's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, as we mentioned, December 27th, 28th, and 29th. The games will be played at the Tiernan Center and also the IU East Gym. Is that a new facility?
It's a new facility, just opened up this year,
okay.
I believe.
Wow.
In years past, they played over at Earlham.
I remember it. They went to the Earlham Gym.
Which is a very nice facility
Sure.
as well. But I'm hoping to get up there. We won't have those games on the radio, but I'm hoping to get up there to see some of it. And
Right.
I'm hoping to see them in the Tiernan Center, because I think if you win and you keep winning, you stay at Tiernan Center. But sometime I would like to see the new sporting facility at IU East. You know, IU East and Richmond shared the Tiernan Center for a number of years.
Did they?
That the Red Wolves would play
Okay,
there.
I didn't realize that.
And if you go in there, you'll notice that above the goals are shot clocks.
Okay.
And that's because
college, sure.
because IU East played there, and they also have the NCAA 3-point line, which is a little farther out. They have that striped on the floor.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that the Tiernan Center had those things. Okay, the other teams in this, I'm going to read this off here if I can. Bedford North Lawrence is one of the teams. Indianapolis Heron, Park Tudor, South Bend Adams, Indianapolis Lighthouse, Seton Catholic, Franklin Central, which is a defending champ, by the way, Dayton, Ohio's Miami Valley, and Richmond, along with the Spartans. Are the things. And
quite a variety.
Yeah, and the Spartans will be opening at, I think, 1:30 on Tuesday or 1 o'clock. And they'll be playing Indianapolis Tinley, which is a Class 1A school. So
But you don't want to discount
no, absolutely not.
those schools, and a lot of them you mentioned are either parochial or charter schools. And I don't want to mention the R word, recruit, but you don't know. I mean, they can have some fine players, and you know, you mentioned like last year, Richmond Seton Catholic out of Richmond was a very fine team.
Yeah, they defeated
Richmond. I forget the young man's name that played for them, but just a tremendous player. He's gone now. But so. This is one of those things, and I've said all along, it doesn't matter how big you are and what the class is, that there's only 5 guys from each team on the floor at one time.
They all put their shoes on the same way. So, and then the Spartans play at 8:30 on Tuesday night against Portage, and then where they go from there depends on how those games turn out.
Yeah, it's a pool play, so I'm not sure how that works, but I think we played Portage a year ago or a couple of years ago, and I'd gone up to watch them play and I think that was held at Earlham, and as I recall, we defeated them.
Yes.
But, you know, some schools from up in the region, when you bring Portage down and the South Bend school.
Yes. I mean, it should be a very fine tournament, and the junior varsity teams also play during that tourney. I'm not sure how that.
I think they at Dennis or Test or somewhere in one of the middle schools. So that's good too. Is the junior Spartans get to continue to
Yeah,
play.
those kids get to keep playing because the last thing a coach wants is to have a kid idle for a couple of weeks, and so it's good to
Yeah,
have.
keep their legs under
Yeah,
them.
it's good to have that tournament. Also, next week, the Lady Spartans, as we talked a little bit about earlier, would be playing an tourney called the Rumble on the River. I think it's at Southwestern, and that's near
In Hanover.
in Hanover. Okay,
Southwestern Hanover.
And I think the Spartans will be taking on Hanover in their first ball game.
game,
Daniel
host school.
Hafner, the assistant coach to Michael, said that was what the pairing was for that. So
It's always a good tournament. Been down there a couple times for that. We used to carry some of that, and a nice facility. They do a nice job. Southwestern High School does of hosting that, and there again you see teams that you wouldn't see otherwise,
Yes.
probably unless you made it deep into the tournament. And teams of different classes. I think the host school's 2A, but it's near Madison.
yes,
And in between times, there's a lot to do in beautiful downtown Madison. A lot of shops and,
Yes.
and nice places to eat. So it's really pretty down there along the river.
it should be interesting, and hopefully the girls will keep improving, and who knows, maybe they can come back with a championship.
Yeah, hopefully, when they go, hopefully they've picked up a win by then tomorrow,
Sure,
Tuesday
yes.
night at Greenfield Central, and are 8-6 going in, and,
Right, be
and
good.
have a winning record. For them to be where they are, I think they only won 5 games last year, and they're just they have improved so much, and a steady improvement from the first time we saw them this year.
Yes, they struggled early, but as you point out, each game they seem to get a little bit better. Also next week, that longtime Spartan Classic called High School Wrestling will be bringing teams from all over the state into Spartan Bowl, I think, for wrestling on the 29th and 30th. That's a Thursday and a Friday. Begin at 9 o'clock on Thursday and at 8:30 on Friday morning. So
yeah, if you like wrestling,
if you
that's
like
the place to
wrestling,
go. And,
this is
and it's a good thing for our community. Brings a lot of people to town. The wrestling community, the parents and other fans come to see
Yes.
that. And they spend money in our restaurants. And,
yeah, it's great that we host something like that.
stay in our hotels, and so it's a good thing.
Right. Let's back up a little bit. TV3 was at Spartan Bowl last week for the South Dearborn games, the girls and the boys. We have some highlights from those games, so let's see them right now. There's the boys exiting the tunnel.
Nothing like coming out of the tunnel at Spartan Bowl.
Yeah,
Oh, right there.
I think so. It's one of his shots, and there's Grant Smith.
Dipsy-do there by Grant. Good camera work.
Oh yeah, we've got a great crew. We got 4 guys on camera, 3 guys and a gal on camera, and they do a super job.
There's Grant again, one-handed slam.
We had a lady official for that one ball game, and as I was leaving the bowl, she was too, and she said, "I really like the bowl." She said, like
Good.
she's never been in one before. She was just amazed, and I said, "Have a safe trip home, and where you live?" And she said, "At Terre Haute."
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Are you going to Terre Haute tonight?" She said, "Oh yes." And I said, the weather is not really. This was Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I guess she made it. I hope she made it home.
I thought they did a good job. I had not seen that trio before of officials, and I made the comment to Dave that I didn't really notice them on the floor, and when you don't notice them, to me, they're doing a good job.
That's right. I agree.
So they're the Spartans. With the
Yeah, there's a fun
conference win.
holding the nice at 24 points, but as you said, that a lot of it was due to their holding the ball, a lot in the ball game. Here are the girls when they played the South Dearborn Lady Knights and everything.
Yeah, I had not. We had seen female referees in the past, but
Yes.
I had not
Yes.
I'd not seen her. I'm glad that she was impressed and had to be impressed with our pregame and all that.
Oh, I
They were
think
standing
so,
there.
right? That's a rarity, I think, in high school basketball, the way we sort of get the fans into a frenzy before the game ever begins.
Just I believe that was Lauren Thompson knocking down a three. She had a terrific night.
Yes, yes.
And the night before, the Lady Spartans played back-to-back. The night before, they had defeated Muncie Central.
Right.
And Muncie Central tested them a little bit, but they were able to prevail. Thought that they, down the stretch, played well and did what they needed to do.
That was a 2-point win. Was that a 2-point win?
I believe so.
I think so.
And the Lady Spartans, with this win over South Dearborn, pulled even within the conference. And Coach Thompson, start of the year, said that he'd like to, of course, you always want to finish first, but realizing the level of competition that is in the EIAC, that,
Yes.
If he can move up to the middle of the pack and show steady improvement each year to where maybe next year we could vie for that conference championship.
Right.
There's at least Bottomley feeding it up ahead. And
Yes.
getting the basket was Lauren Thompson, lay up underneath, so she did have quite a night. I think another one that's coming on very well, playing well, is Elise Bottomley. She's using those long arms that she has,
Yes.
and able to tap the ball out, get the rebound, or at least get a hand on it and tap it out to one of her teammates.
Oh, they're fun to watch. They really are. We might talk a little bit about the middle school. Next Tuesday, the 27th, the middle school boys red basketball team will be playing in Batesville's St. Louis Invitational, and that's about it for the rest of the year for the junior high guys and gals. The middle school girls teams will begin their schedule on January the 5th, when they will be meeting South Dearborn, and the girls will be the white girls will be playing at Centerville on January the 9th, and the wrestling team will be opening January the 14th at Greensburg. So those are the three sports that they have at the middle school. And the boys, of course, have been playing. The red and white teams doing pretty well, I think.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah,
And, that's a good thing. We talked a little bit about the JV boys. JV girls are playing much better too. I like the way they play, and I know I'll leave somebody out, but I think Jessica Beckman is.
Yes.
I like watching her play. She's aggressive and a great rebounder, and likes to go in and stir things up. And then the Strewing twins they're coming along very well, and that's double trouble when you see them.
That's
coming
right.
Up the floor.
That's right. They're a little bit mighty. I mean,
Yes, they are.
they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch.
And another one I think is playing well. Sarah Griffin is doing very well. And I don't want to slide anybody.
Sure,
leave
I know what
anybody
you
out,
mean,
but
right.
Those are the ones that come to mind right
Yes.
off. And also, Hannah Gross has been getting some JV time as she's recovering, or has recovered from the concussion that she suffered. But it's good that she's able to come back and get some minutes on both teams, and to rehab a little bit, because she sat out for a long time. She had to get back in shape. So
She was out quite a while,
right.
And before she was cleared by the medical people to return.
Right, that's nothing to mess with. So
I think, was it the Anderson game?
the Anderson game, she collided with one of the Anderson players. Didn't hit the floor, but she was a bigger girl, and it was like hitting a wall.
And she had a concussion and everything. The Spartans will be playing on January the 7th in a game at Newcastle, a Challenge Cup Classic.
Indiana, Kentucky Challenge
Yeah,
Cup.
it's an all-day affair, and this Ballard team scores over 100 points at times. As you pointed out, they're one of the top teams in Kentucky. So it should be an exciting event at Newcastle.
Be very exciting, and we were talking a little bit before we went on air here that probably I would say that they wouldn't be able to score 100 points against the Cary Brown.
No, I don't think so. I think maybe in 2 games, but I don't think in 1.
Yeah. So.
That's a full day affair. It starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. Greenfield Central and Mason County, Kentucky meet. That's a girls' game. The boys will be playing at 1 o'clock from West Washington and Bardstown. At 3 o'clock, a boys' game, Cloverdale versus Franklin County, Kentucky, not Indiana. And at 5 will be another boys' game, Oak Hill and Wagoner. And then at 7 o'clock, the Spartans and the Louisville Ballard team. Tickets are available, I know.
Tickets are available at the athletic office, I
Right.
would say, this week. Of course, school will be out. So.
Right, Friday there's no school, so through
Right.
Thursday there will be tickets available, and $10, I think. A lot of
For a
basketball.
whole day of
Right.
basketball, and you know, it's a nice place to watch a game, and I just think it's great that the Spartans are in the nightcap. To me, the last game is the featured game.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And Brent Duncan pointed out the reason we were invited was because of our fan base.
And we talked about that earlier, how well we travel, and yeah, it's $10 to get in, but it is all day of
Tuesday.
basketball, so
5 games.
5 games. So,
So-
when you break it down that way, it's only $2 a game.
That's right. So hopefully a lot of the Spartan fans will be able to follow the boys to that night. So it should be an interesting second half of the season. Sam, the girls, of course, end their season in the end of January.
Yeah, they're more than halfway done. So.
Yes,
But
yes.
improving, as we said all along, and that's what you're supposed to do: improve and get ready for the tournament and for the sectional tournament. And we know that that's a tough one. And
Italy, where the girls play at?
you know, I don't know where they play this year.
Okay, they normally play at Pendleton,
Well, they've
Greenfield.
been rotating it. Greenfield,
Okay.
Pendleton, Mount Vernon's had it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's time for Spartan Bowl to host one.
That'd be
but-
great if we could. I mean, we had the boys 2A, Class 2A there for a while, but then some of the Indianapolis schools complained about the length of the
Amount of
trip
travel.
and everything, so we lost that. But it would be great if we had a tournament of some kind.
And since we've been aligned with the teams we are in boys, it's always been at Newcastle, the sectional, and I haven't quite understood why, but that's okay. But it could be, and I understand that under reclassification, that Newcastle is at the bottom of Class 4A. So if they move to 3A, then that may open up an opportunity for the other schools. Well, it will open up an opportunity for other schools
Yes.
to host the boys sectional, and hopefully Connorsville could be considered for that, because it's a real shame to leave Spartan Bowl set empty at tournament time.
That's right.
When it's so nice.
And the classes are determined by enrollment.
By enrollment, and with all the charter schools and the startup parochial schools at the lower end, it kind of pushes the upper classes up a little bit, and that's helped keep us in 4A. And it's okay with me to stay in 4A and
Sure.
stay with the big ones, because I just feel like that if you win that you've really won something then. So.
Well, I'd be anxious to see, because they take all the schools and then divide it into 4, and that's how they come up with the classes.
And plus, they have this success factor, which I don't quite understand. If you do well
That's
in
right.
the
If you
lower
win
classes,
you win a tournament, then
if you win the state championship and that, you can move up. I think you have to do it a couple years in a row. I don't quite understand it, because, well, even with with Greensburg, they won it 2 years in a row and didn't have to move up. So
I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, Sam, it's been good to see you. We want to
Yes.
wish our viewers a very happy Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Oh yes, we'll be back after the first year. And Merry Christmas.
Thanks everybody for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.